What's going on, people? Nigel Maestro here with Musician Lives Matter. Hey, I got a special guest for y'all tonight. I do say that every night, but that's because all of them are special, you know? Musician Lives Matter. All the way from a little town called Italy. That's right, we're going across seas today. All the way from Italy by way of LA. We got Mr. Nikko Ielasi. That's right. I said it right, you know. So, without further ado, hold on, I'm gonna get it right. Buenos Aires, Senor Nikko Ielasi.
That was great. What's up, brother? Buonasera anche a te.
Buenos Aires.
Yeah, it means good evening to you too. But
okay, cool deal, man. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right. We're just trying to get over this little cold weather in LA. You know, for us, once we get to that 45, 46 degree weather, that's cold for us in LA. You know,
man.
I know you're probably looking at me like you guys are crazy, but you know, California, that's how we roll. And right now, it's a little too cold for our taste. So we're trying to get over it.
It's the same way down here, man. We're in Augusta, Georgia, so it's. We get. If there's snow that it hadn't even hit the ground yet, they're closing all the schools. So it's the same way.
I lived in Boston. I went to college in Boston, and there, like, the schools would be open with 10 feet of snow. Like you would be, it's so different, right? People are used to completely different climates.
Yeah, man, it's wild, man. So what's up, man? First of all, tell us, tell us. I said your name right? Nikko Ielasi.
Hold on, sorry. You're gonna have to say that again because my connection was. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear you. We did freeze. Oh man, what happened?
It's okay. I mean, you can cut it, right? You can do cuts in post production. So let's take it from there. I mean, just
cool deal.
Yeah.
I said your name right? Nikko Ielasi.
Yeah. Ielasi is perfect. Yeah.
Cool deal. So yeah, just tell us where you're from, and I know you originally from Italy. How'd you end up in the States? And just real quick, kind of condense in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to make the story of my life in a few seconds. But no, quickly, I'm from a small island in the south of Italy called Ischia. It's a gorgeous place, especially in the summertime, you know. But unfortunately, being a small island, there's not much to do, especially with music, right? If that's your passion, you don't really have a lot of opportunities out there. So growing up, I started getting more passionate about music, and eventually I found out about Berklee College of Music in Boston. And then, I make the long story short, but it's, I auditioned during my last year of high school. I auditioned in Rome for Berklee, and I was able to get a scholarship, which, by the way, let me tell you, is the only thing that you need to consider for Berklee, because the financial side of it is crazy. Like, it's so expensive, right? So you gotta have some way to attend it and to pay for it. And I was blessed to receive a scholarship. But other than that, Berklee is like the best place in the world. You know, if you can get over the financial part of it, Berklee is amazing. So that's how I got to America. So when I was 19, after high school, I moved to Boston. I went to school there. I graduated after 5 years because I actually did 2 majors. So I did piano, and I also did arranging, production, that kind of stuff. So it took me an extra year to do 2 majors instead of just 1. And then as soon as I was done with college, I moved out here to LA, and I've been here since then, which has been 4 years now. So that's a very short version of it.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, I love it, man. So obviously, for you to audition for Berklee, you had to, you obtained a scholarship. You already, could play some. So how did that journey come about? Did you start really young or as a teenager?
Yeah, you will guess that when I talk about my life, I will mention something about music, right? Instead, I just completely forgot.
No, you're good. No, I love it, man.
Yeah. But the story is, I started playing piano randomly when I was 7. It's actually a funny story because my mom brought me to this music school that it wasn't like a serious school. It was more like, when kids go to play basketball or play sports, it's more like a hobby, right? When you're that young, at least in the beginning, it's just a hobby. It's a way to spend time, meet new friends or whatever. So I went there and I hated it. Like, the first time I was there, the legend has it that I cursed the teacher out.
Oh my goodness.
I'm saved now. So, it's all right.
Lay hands on you.
But yeah, so it was horrible. And then randomly a few months later, I was like, Mom, can we try it again? Like, can you take me back there? And since that second attempt, I have never stopped playing music since that day.
Wow.
So that's how it started. Then when I was about 13, 14 years old, that's when I got my first jazz piano teacher. That's when I started getting a little more serious, because up until that point it was more like a game, something that I loved, but it wasn't serious. And that's when I started. So 13, 14, that's when I did my first jazz piano teacher. Then when I was 15, I did this Berkeley program in Italy, the same college that I went to, but in Italy. And I won a scholarship to go to Berkeley for the summer. Like, it was one of those high school kids program, that Berkeley does. So when I was 16, that was actually my very first time going to Berkeley, was when I was 16, for a 5-week program during the summer.
Wow.
Right? And that was my first approach to Berkeley. That's when I knew. That's when I was like, okay, I really want to do this in life. I want to be a musician. I want to study here one day, like an actual undergraduate program, like an actual college program. So then, after that summer program, of course, I went back to Italy. I finished my high school, another couple of years. And the rest of the story, I auditioned for the actual college, like for the undergrad program. And then the rest is history. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, dude. So, I mean, I came across your videos. I can't remember if it was YouTube or Instagram. I want to say Instagram, because I'm always I'm in the explore page and I'm typing in piano, and then these suggested videos. And actually I think it was YouTube, because I was watching some jazz stuff. Then I think one of your videos came out. I was like, oh my God, who is that? I was like, yeah. And so then just watch more videos, and then I said, yeah, I gotta follow him. Then went to Instagram, and then for a while, and then your stuff kept coming up. I was like, dude, this dude is ice cold. And then I started, well, first the jazz stuff, and then I heard you playing some of the the gospel stuff, the modern gospel stuff. I was like, oh yeah, he either been studying or been around somebody like that's just heavy, because he's like. So how'd you transition from like the jazz to playing the kind of the gospel style chords?
So that of course came later in my life, because I grew up in Italy. We have Catholic church there, and to be honest with you, growing up I wasn't even that into going to church. Like, my family was always we're Christians, we're Catholic, but we're not really church goers in the sense that every week we're at church, and we're not. So it wasn't like that. And even if I did go to church, like, the music in the Italian churches, it's like
I got you.
I'm sorry, it's like horrible. I hate to say that about my country, but it's not good. And so when I moved to when I was in Boston, I had a brief experience playing for a church, a Nigerian church actually in Boston, where we did play some gospel, but it wasn't like Kojic or anything. Like, it wasn't like the actual church feel. It was more so, like you said, crossover gospel, CCM music, contemporary Christian music type of vibe. And that was my first approach. And when I was at Berkeley, I did have a close relationship with Dennis Montgomery, the gospel teacher, and everybody that teaches like those classes. Yeah. And so that was my first approach. But honestly, if now I know 50 about gospel, back then I probably knew 10. Like, it wasn't really then that I learned. And again, still I got so much more to learn about it. But when I really started learning was when I moved to LA, because about a week after, literally, it was crazy. As soon as I got here, I had this friend of mine that used to play at this church, and he went to college with me. That's how I knew him. And he's a great singer, not only a piano player. And he had received an offer to go to another church to actually lead worship as a singer, as the choir director and everything, right? Right. So it was like, he said, I want to sing more. I want to be the director of worship. So he was pretty much giving up the position of music director and keyboard player at this other church. So he called me up, and I go there, and dude, when I tell you, the first year, like, if I still feel a little uncomfortable in certain situations today, the first year was so tough. Because listen, you can be, and I'm not saying I'm a great jazz player. I think I'm a pretty good player, but you can be the best jazz player in the world. You can be the best piano shredder type of guy. You can be whoever you want, but if you did not grow up in church, it's a whole different beast, right?
So it's another language and just
oh my gosh,
everything.
It's completely different. So that was my beginning, and it's been 4 years now that I'm the music director at this church, and it's been a great learning experience because first of all, the church was founded by Mike Burrell's father, like I told you earlier today. So I was suddenly, and again, I didn't even know who the Burrell were before. Like I didn't know anything about gospel, so I didn't know what that family was. But I literally just got like catapulted into this family all of a sudden.
Right.
Because mind you, my family is overseas. I'm by myself in America. So they quote unquote adopt me, like literally, because I don't have any family here. So every holiday, everything, I'm always at the house. We're always hanging out, talking music, talking live, praying together, eating together. And they taught me so much, especially Mike, Pastor Chad. Pastor Chad is Mike's brother-in-law. He's married to Mike's sister. Okay. And so it's been incredible to be in that environment because I learned so much about this. Of course the life stuff that I learned, and the spiritual stuff that I learned, but I'm talking about music. Like this was a beast that I did not know, and that was completely different from anything that I've done so far. So I was blessed to have my tail kicked, because they did kick my tail.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's the only way to learn, man.
But that's how you learn. That's how you learn. And I spent so many nights, man, in the church when nobody was there, up until like 3 a.m. in the morning, just try to practice and play and learn. Yeah. And I feel like now I'm still, you can see that I'm still somebody, you can hear that I'm somebody who did not grow up in that environment, but I think that now I'm in a point where I can do a decent job, and I can do my job.
I can be, for sure.
I can support, and I can be effective in what I do, even though, again, I probably need another 20 years to be in a place where I'm like, okay, now I've really mastered this.
Man, I'll be 33 this year. Been playing since I was 4, and I still don't have it. Especially when it comes to the black gospel, because it's so intricate and so, just so much, flavor in there. So, Lil Nikko in Italy, you go to first piano class, hate it, come back again, and then you love it, and you keep going. You end up going, loving it so much, you get good enough to go to one of the most prestigious music schools here in America, which that opens up just a bunch of connections. But that one connection happens to when you land in LA to connect with one of the most prolific piano players, not just in gospel, but just period, Mike Burrell. But at the time, since you're really not from America, you really don't even know that that's Mike Burrell. And he, y'all become friends, and he becomes your mentor, and in the church and everything, and now you're just growing and expanding, and that's why I do this, and that's what I love. Like music, I always say music and food is what connects the whole world together.
Oh, absolutely. And you're talking to an Italian, so don't try to bring food in, because listen, we can talk for hours.
Robbie, I love my wife. That's the one place she wants to go. She said, I always ask her, because we dreams, if you can go one place, and she's like, I want to go to Italy, because she loves pasta. We love pasta and pizza. And
well, listen, you got a new friend now, so whatever you need, I'll hook you up, and I'll let you know the places and the things to do.
Thank you. We got an inside scoop, so that's what.
Absolutely, that's for sure.
That's brownie points for me. So yeah. So yeah, man. So let's kind of let's fast forward to to now. Let's go back, last year, 2020. So like you say, 3 years after you graduated, and you're doing that in LA, and now Mr. COVID comes along and has affected this whole world, so what does that look like, for you? So
I gotta say to you that the COVID situation affected me in a interesting way, because I was coming, and I don't want to mix stories, but I think that it is connected, so I think it's worth talking about it this way. I was coming from an already very hard time in my life. Okay, so I'll tell the story briefly. When I was in Italy in August 2019, I was back home for the summer break, and I suddenly woke up completely deaf on my right side. So I lost half of my hearing overnight. I went to sleep perfectly fine. I woke up, my right ear was gone. Now that brought me to stay in Italy for 3 months as opposed to only stay there for 3 weeks like I usually do when I go on vacation. I go see my family.
Right.
And I fell in the deepest depression of my life, and it was very tough. And we'll talk more about that if you want, but just to tell you that when I then was able to come back to America and slowly starting to get my life back together, even with the new disability that I have, I was able to get on a tour, I was able to do things, and life was sort of like starting again in a way that I was getting active again.
Right.
I was starting to take better care of myself again. I was involved in music. I was passionate about what I was doing again. And then all of a sudden it all stopped. It all completely, it was completely taken away. And I understand that it was the same for everybody, and all musicians went through pretty much the same situation with gigs being canceled, income disappearing, and it must have been so tough. In a way though, because I have a family here, like I told you, because my church family has been very supportive and very helpful, and B, because I was already coming from a time that was so tough on me with my hearing loss, I didn't feel like the COVID situation really killed me emotionally. You know what I mean? It's almost like when you're already going through something, you develop that thicker skin, and it's like, okay, I mean, it's just another thing that we got to go through, and we got and I'm not trying to be jaded or be like negative, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that
you develop some, like you said, tough skin to be able to handle more what comes on.
Now on the work, on the work side of things, it's definitely been extremely tough. All the performing work is pretty much gone. Like there's nothing right now. Whether you're talking about touring or you're talking about local gigs or you're talking about the different range of opportunities that we have to play outside and to perform live, they're all pretty much gone for me.
My sister and brother-in-law are actually, they're moving back over here because they were saying everything's shut down in LA, so they're coming back.
Absolutely. And LA is one expensive city. LA is one expensive city. So
to
if
not
you're not
be
making
working
that income, you're literally, wasting money. I have a situation where, like I said, I'm able to still do work for the church, and I'm doing a lot of mixing and production work. We're doing actually we've been doing a lot lately, the last month or so. We started doing this whole production thing. We turned the sanctuary into a live recording studio with amazing equipment, and I've been mixing all the live videos that we're doing, and we're producing all these worship songs. It's been, and now actually that's the next thing we're gonna do. We started by doing a bunch of famous gospel songs because we needed them for the Sunday online services. We needed to record those, but now we're gonna use what we learned and the equipment that we have and my mixing and my production, all that, to start doing our own original gospel music with the church. So that's gonna be interesting to do. That's what's next with my gospel work. At least that's part of what I do.
Dude, I love it, man. We definitely got a link on that, because that is that's what I love too about like this pandemic like you said, has been as devastating as it's been. It's also been a huge blessing in disguise for a lot of creatives, like you and myself, and a lot of us that just, it allows us to really live that prophecy where they say your gifts will make room for you. And I think we as ourselves, especially playing the instrument, we lock ourselves down into that instrument, like that's my gift. And God's like, no, man, you can record video, you can engineer, you can record, you can edit, you can do photos, you can make flyers, you know what I'm saying? So it's causing that creative gene in us to really blossom and not get bogged down. So that's awesome, man. Like you said, y'all, if you were on tour, playing and doing all this stuff, when would you have time to really sit down and start?
I wouldn't have.
And be writing new songs, creating new material, working on your mixing and engineering, so but yeah, man,
that's actually really a good point. It's just that I'm not saying that because we're talking about musician lives matter, which means like it's about how we go through life, not just about what we do musically.
Right.
I think that's very important to understand that none of us go through a smooth life. Life is never supposed to be this straight line that goes like this from top to bottom, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of, I see life as a sort of a roller coaster where it keeps going up and down. Like there's moments that are better, the moments that are tougher, and you got to be able to navigate that. You got to be fluid enough and open enough to understand those moments and live through them. And like you said, in the moments that are tougher and that are more, that impact you in a negative way, you got to be able to take that, turn into a lesson, and find new strength.
Right.
Which in this case, like you said, means you cannot perform as much. Learn a new craft. You got talents. You got to wait. You got the ability to learn. You know, just learn a new thing. Learn how to edit videos. Learn how to mix. Learn how to make an arrangement. Like different things. That doesn't have to be limited to your ability to play an instrument. You know.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, man. That's
not to mention the last thing. Not
No,
to
you
mention
good.
the human side of it. The fact that like the amount of time that we have now to really develop those relationships that are important in our lives.
Yes.
Listen, when you go on tour, when you're touring, I mean, yeah, your bandmates become your friends, but all the important, serious, deep, old relationships in your life, they kind of go in the back burner because
Right.
you don't have time to really pay attention to that. And so, like you said, there's always a blessing in disguise somewhere to be found. you know?
Exactly. Dude, I love it, man. I love it. So can you speak a little bit more on, what happened with you and your hearing? Was it is it a disease that's like inherited, or just something for you, or like what what did the doctor say about that?
So the thing that hit me is called sudden sensorineural hearing loss. So what happens is that this is a damage that kills the cells in your inner ear, right? Our hearing system is made of outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. The inner ear is the part that actually connects to our brain, right? So it's called the transmission of the sound. It's what goes from the outside, right? The signal that is in the outside is translated into this electric impulse, and it goes to the brain. That's what we call hearing. We don't know that happens because it happens instantaneously, right?
Right.
But that's what happens. The part that is responsible for transmitting that signal to the brain died. Like the cells that do that, they died all overnight. The problem is that they don't ever, whenever somebody's hit with that, and it's actually more common than you think, right? Nobody really knows how it happens. There's no way to prove that that's what happened to you. There's a bunch of reasons why it could happen, and so you kind of go by exclusion. You exclude one thing and you prove the other. So it could be a blood issue where like there's overnight the blood flow doesn't get stuck and you can't get blood to the ears, kind of like a heart attack or something, a stroke. Same thing, but to the hearing level. Or it could be a virus. It could be a virus that travels upward and kills the cells. It could be a hit, like if you have a trauma, you get hit, and that happens too. It could be a pressure trauma, like when you dive under the water. I'm from an island, so I swim. I love love diving and everything. It could be that it kills, like kind of like when you go on the plane, when sometimes your ears pop, that kind of stuff. But we excluded all those things. So the only plausible explanation is that it was a virus. It was something that I caught somehow, and it traveled upward into my brain and it killed those cells. And the crazy thing is that everybody that gets this sudden sensorineural hearing loss is that it literally happens in 6 to 7 hours. Like and most of the time it happens during the night.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And
that just Go ahead.
The hardest part is honestly, of course the hearing loss, it's hard, but the even harder part is the tinnitus. I have 24/7 tinnitus in my ear, which is like these noises that don't exist. My brain just makes up these noises. In my case, it's a white noise. Like I have this 24/7 happening into my right ear. And I'm blessed. You see, you gotta find a blessing in disguise because some people develop the same thing, but instead of being a white noise, like they have an actual pitch.
Oh my God.
Right? And I do get those. I do get the pitches, but those, they come and go for me. Everybody's different. In my case, during the day, I get like 2 or 3 of those, and they're like, and then after 10-15 seconds, they just fade out and they go. But the white noise stays with me 24/7. But to be really honest with you, the white noise I'm now kind of used to.
Yeah.
Like I only notice if I'm in a really, really quiet environment.
Right.
You know, like when I go to sleep at night, it's a little tough because it's like it's a constant reminder. Okay, you got a problem, dude. But you gotta live through that problem.
Dude, well, everybody has a thorn in their flesh, you know, and I couldn't even, and that's wild that we're even talking about this because, you know, my wife would tell you that's been the only thing I've ever been scared about. You know, like two things is messing up my hands. Like any job I've ever had, I've always told them I'm not gonna try to catch nothing. I'm not gonna try to put my hands in like.
I'm gonna protect them hands.
Right, like if I'm carrying something, if it's falling, that's gonna drop before I. And then the other thing was not being able to hear, and like even from my girls, like I prayed for them. I was like, Lord, I know, you know, you are perfect in everything, and I pray that they're in full health. But if it's anything that they do have an ailment, don't let them lose their, you know, their hearing, just because I know how powerful music is, and you know, not just for playing, but even just listening, and you know, the transfer of waves and sound. And so, for you to say that now you don't, you know, and one of your ears is gone, it's just like. That literally just breaks my heart because I know, you know, how much that is. But then it's encouraging to see that you're still going forward, you're still moving, and it like without you telling me, I wouldn't have known. Like nobody, because you still express and you play.
I was lucky that, you know, of course, my left ear wasn't bothered by this issue, so at least I got one side left.
Yeah.
The downside of that is that I live. And I'm a very honest person. Like what you see was what you get. I never had a problem sharing my feelings or sharing what I'm going through. Yeah. And so I can be honest and tell you that my biggest fear is just that one day I'll wake up and the other side is gone too. Yeah. Of course, that's like, because at that point, then I'm probably really gonna be done. Like there's no hearing. There, you know, how am I gonna, you know, I don't consider myself a Beethoven. So you know, I don't think I'll be able to do that.
Hey, listen, man, you never know. But at the same time, I pray. Even right now, you know, Lord God, just bless Nikko, and even though this situation is hitting him in one ear, I ask that it does not, you know, affect his other ear. And even if it does, you are still a God that can do all things and will still bless him. So I speak that over you, man, and I don't want you to,
Amen. I receive that, brother.
I don't want you to live in fear and be, you know, still, which I say that, but at the same time, I sympathize with you, you know, and I understand. I empathize with you. What's going on? But you know,
like if you think about it, like you said, the fear is one aspect of it, but it's what you decide to do with that fear that matters. You know, as human beings, we are going to feel those things. We are going to have fear. We're going to have moments of sadness, but we can choose to turn it around and make that our new starting point, I guess. And the biggest testimony that I can give you is that I learned how to mix with one ear. I did not mix before 7-8 months ago, right?
That's amazing.
And I received a lot of compliments for my mixing, which again, I don't care about the compliments for the sake of the compliments, or like your music is good, your mixing is good. Like that's not what I care for. What I cared in that specific example is that I proved myself that I could. You know, even through the fear, even through the negative stuff, I could find a way to do it, right? Yeah. And then, so I guess the only thing I can say is that even though I will still have days where fear will be a little stronger, I will still have days where I might not trust the process. I might believe that it could get worse. I will still push. And I will still try to do my best with what I have.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Dude. Mm-hmm. Amazing, man. I'm trying not to cry on this stream, man. Dude,
no.
I mean, because that's
not good
there. Yeah, man. Well, dude, man, I appreciate you telling us your story, man, telling us your background, and how this pandemic has affected you, how you're moving forward, how you're pushing through. And yeah, man, like I said, people, they see you playing, they see, you know, how dope you're on keys, but they don't really know the life story and the struggle that you've had to face, currently facing, but still going through and overcoming, man. So that's awesome, man. You know, y'all on the screen, y'all. Let me see the likes and the hearts, man. Y'all give him a round of applause.
It's not the applause is not for me. It's for the guy upstairs who allowed me to push through.
Yeah, man. It's for the guy, and he obviously shines through you, man. You know, great spirit on you and everything.
Thank you. I'm trying my best.
This is our first time meeting and talking, but dude, I already know, man. You know, bros for life.
I want to say one last thing about this, and then we can move on. It's about the faith thing. My relationship, the one thing that got really hit by this hearing loss was my relationship with God. I struggled. Like, my prayer life became really, it just got hit really strong. Like, I didn't pray as much. I didn't believe anymore. Like, it was a tough time. So all I'm saying is that if you ever in life go through that, if you ever go through something extremely traumatic that affects your ability to do what you love, and it kind of makes you lose perspective on the good things in life, and it kind of turns you into this negative person, just know that it's human. Just know that it's normal. Just know that you're gonna get through it, and God will see you through it, and your relationship with God will get better again, just like mine did. It took time. You know what I mean? The one thing that we cannot do is pretend that everything is perfect all the time, because that's madness, bro.
Yeah.
If we always pretending everything is this perfect situation that we're living in every day, all day, it's just nonsense. So it's not the moments of weakness that you have to fear. It's pretending that there's no weakness that you have to fear.
Wow.
So with that in mind, just always remember, whatever comes your way, if you do your work and you believe in God, you'll get through it. You'll get through it, and you'll come out on the other side even better and stronger than you were before. And I really believe that because I did go through something so traumatic, so I can say that now.
Sila. Amen, my brother. Nikko Ielasi, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, man, dude. Amen. I know you got a performance, queued up and ready to share with us, but I see you got your keyboard there, man. Is there something on you? Oh yeah. What do you? I see two back there. You know.
Oh, that's true. I see the keyboards there. Okay.
If you got something on your
actually
heart,
three.
man.
Look, three. I got no. What is it? I got a big piano.
Oh,
up here.
I see.
I mean, you can't see all of it, but there's a little painting there.
I got you, man. You got something on your heart you want to share with us real quick, or just something, you know?
Yeah, I'll just play something. There is a song that I've actually been playing the last couple of days that I love, and it's nothing flashy. It's just very sweet and intentional, and it's called Danny Boy. It's an old Irish hymn, actually. It's an old Irish song, and I love that melody. And I'm just gonna play a little bit of it, and then we can say our goodbyes and go, I guess, back to the queuing the videos that we have. And
man.
So I'm gonna take this out of the way because I don't want to hit my head against the microphone.
Go ahead, let's do it.
All right. something like it. I don't know.
Great Jehovah Jireh.
I love that song. It's such a beautiful melody.
Oh my!
And again, I mean, my thing is more of a I love jazz playing, I love soloing stuff, but in this case, especially because of what we talked about, I needed to play something that was more melodic, more in the spirit of what we were talking about. So hopefully that resonated with you. But
wait, can y'all bring me the trash can so I can? Goodness gracious! What? Nikko Ielasi, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even,
Thank you.
man.
Such a gorgeous song. I
It's
love that song.
it's the man bun.
It is.
That's
It is. It's no, that's a new. It's a new thing, by the way.
That's just.
I've
I'm growing my hair
recently-
out, man. That's.
I've recently started growing my hair, but so I guess there's a little bit of anointing in the band bun. I don't know.
Hey,
Like,
oh my goodness, yeah, man.
you know, anointing comes in a short supply, so I'll take it from wherever I can. So if
Yeah,
the man
man.
bun gives me some, I'll take some.
You must be a descendant of Samson.
Lord, let your anointing fall on me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. One more thing before we go. So I heard,
Yes,
I did
sir.
hear, based on what you played. So how much of that would you say is like your original foundation, and then how much? I heard a lot of Mike, but just the style in that. So how much was kind of both of those?
It's some of it. I mean, I've always been a great listener. Like I love listening to people. I love transcribing people, and there's definitely different influences. As a matter of fact, the core of the arrangement that I was playing, the way I was playing the song, I learned it from Keith Jarrett, great jazz pianist.
Dude, yes.
He has a beautiful
Man after my
piano
own
solo
heart.
rendition. By the way, if you go if you go and search for Danny Boy by Keith Jarrett, you can find it on YouTube. It's a similar arrangement, when he starts in F, then he goes to A flat, he modulates and everything. And then, there's, of course, my own taste with the runs, the scales and everything, because Keith Jarrett keeps it for that song, he keeps it really simple, really slow and melodic.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of, I'm still human, I still got flesh, and I still gonna try to show off every once in a while. And definitely, there's always some a little bit of the gospel sound going through my mind, right? So like if Keith Jarrett does this, which is just landed, I would do that kind of stuff, like the usual conclusion of a phrase in gospel piano playing. But again, it's not necessarily, to me, it's not necessarily one person specifically that pushes me to do a certain arrangement or a certain sound. It's more so a result of the listening that I've done through my life. And so all these different influences, they come together, and
I love
eventually you make it your own sound.
Yeah, this mesh that becomes, Dude, awesome, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you again, man. Dude, very encouraged by your story and blessed. And man, just happy to have this new brotherhood, new friendship, and we'll do this again. And man, I just want to introduce.
I just wanted to say that you're doing a fantastic job. I love what you're doing. I think it's a great project. It's a great idea, and thank you so much for having me. I mean, I feel honored, especially with the caliber of people that you've been working with and talking to. I mean, I feel extremely honored to be on with you.
Thank you so much, man. It means a lot, man. I just want people to hear from the people that influence me and that I look up to, and that touch my musical ear and my heart. And man, you're definitely part of that list, man. So man, again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all give it up for Mr. Nikko Ielasi, all the way from Italy, by way of LA, man. So I'll let you go and get the performance ready, man. And till next time, my man.
All right, peace out.
Yes, sir. Oh my goodness, y'all. Listen. Yeah, man. My mind is blown. Dude, this dude is awesome. Listen, Mr. Nikko Ielasi. Y'all follow him. I've got to ask him, but I will put it up on the screen. All of his social media, his Instagram, Facebook. He's got a new project out. I'll put all that on the screen up here somewhere. Y'all follow him. Please go subscribe to him. Go listen to everything he's doing. Y'all follow him. And man, just support. He's gonna be back with us again. We got a performance that he sent us. So yeah, man, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nikko Ielasi. Thank y'all for joining. If y'all would like to support what we are doing here at Musician Lives Matter, here are our support links. Here's how you can follow us. If you'd like to donate, here's our Cash App. You can also go to the website, musicianlivesmatter.com. We have merchandise, we got hoodies, we got hats, we got t-shirts, we got all of that for you. There's also a donation link on there as well. If you like to support for keep the lights on, our cameras, our audio equipment, we greatly appreciate it. Well, listen, until next time, I don't know who the next guest will be, but I promise you, again, like always, it'll be somebody very special. Hey, listen, I love you, but God loves you more. Peace.